Okay, let's go ahead and get this webinar started. Today's discussion is going to be on the CFSE program, Functional Safety, Personnel Competency. My name is Ted Stewart. I will be your presenter today. This webinar is being recorded so that we can share it with you guys in the future. I'll go over some of the information there and how you can retrieve this, and also everybody that does attend this webinar will have access to these slides as well. There is a question that's in here. I do not see it. One moment here. William, you said you had a question, but I do not see your question. Okay, I'm going to continue. If most of you do not know me, my name is Ted Stewart. Here's a little profile picture of myself. I am a project manager for Exeter. I also help manage the CFSE program. One of the fun things that I've been able to do is I'm on the board to really help the CFSE program and make it the most prestigious certification, personnel certification program in functional safety. We have a lot of new stuff going on. Most of the stuff right now I can't put in the public world. However, do know that in the next year or two, the CFSE program will stand out and will be one of the top programs available. These next two slides I threw in there just in case a few of you are not familiar with Exeter. We are a worldwide company. We have main offices and regional offices throughout the world. We have some main products. We have service categories. They're right there in front of you. We do anything as far as consulting, engineering and tools. I know Excellentia is one of the favorites as far as the software tools are concerned. We have product certification. We do training. We have many, many reference materials. We actually probably publish the most books and textbooks, reference books out on the market in functional safety. And then also the discussion that we'll be speaking about today is the professional certification, CFSE and CFSP. So having people that are competent in functional safety isn't just really a good idea. It's actually required by the International Functional Safety Standards, IEC 61508 and also IEC 61511. These standards both contain requirements for having competent and trained personnel to carry out the safety life cycle activities like design, installation and commissioning, operation, and maintenance, and these activities that are now documented within them. These standards are widely recognized as good engineering practices and have become the benchmarks from which governments now measure a company's behavior in the event of an accident. As you can see, I did throw two parts of the standard in front of us. I don't need to read through them, but as you can see in the paragraphs of both standards, it does talk about competency and how it's carried out. So I kind of figure, since we're talking about the CFSE program, a lot of people don't know the history or why even a program exists. So I kind of wanted to fill everyone in and then go into more of the requirements on the program. Here's some history. I'm just going to read this slide to you because I do feel it's kind of fun and unique, and to see how everything started. As a result of the competency requirement in the standards, several personnel functional safety certification programs have been created. The first, as you know here, is the Certified Functional Safety Expert, CFSC. It was launched in 2000, and between two leading certification companies, one being Exeter and the other being TVC. And then it was then expanded into a nonprofit CFSC governance board in 2002. In 2004, the Functional Safety Program was introduced by TV Rhineland. Okay, and now in 2008, ISA also launched their own ISA 84 Expert Program, and then while TVC launched their own Functional Safety Certification Program, FSCP. The goal of each program, obviously, is to help individuals develop and enhance their competence in functional safety and provide a means of measuring, which is testing it. As you see below, and actually one is still missing, they focused the groups, developed into different areas, different skill sets for personnel. As you see, machine safety, process safety, software, safety hardware, and also safety software. What you don't see there is we also do automation, which is standard ISO 26262. So really, what is the CFSE program? Well, the CFSE program was established to improve the skills and formally establish the competency of those engaged in the practice of safety system applications in the process and manufacturing industries. We kind of briefly touched on this already. It was developed in the 2000s. It's operated per ISO 17024. There are different levels of the program. As you know, there is a CFSC. If you don't know, there's a CFSP level, which is kind of like an entry level, whereas somebody who, maybe if they went to college or maybe if they just got into this field, you only need 2 years of experience to go ahead and take the exam. We have all the prerequisites on the CFSE.org website. And then, as most people know, the one that everyone strives for is the CFSE. It's basically your general expert level. It's a very broad test, but it will challenge you. This is not an exam where people can just walk in and easily pass. Most people with 10, 15, 20 years of experience, without some extra training, or if they're very specific in one field, it's going to be hard for them to pass because you need to be well versed in functional safety. You need to know all aspects of functional safety. We also have something new that's been released here. It's the Endorsement Program. I'm not going to touch too much on it. I will touch on it at the very end, but it's more of an electives. It's specific in areas to show the advanced knowledge of a CFSE or a CFSP. Okay, that is a requirement in order to even take a test or do anything within that endorsement program, is you must pass the CFSP or CFSE. Now, the next question is, everyone's talking about, is there really a need to have a program such as this, of any program? Well, I got a few slides kind of to justify that point. As you know, in the developing economies, there's many new plants turning up every day. Most people are trying to become more efficient, obviously to save money for that company. They run to a max capacity. They have extra extended run lengths in manufacturing. You know that there's a workforce demographics to worry about. Functional safety standards are obviously changing. I know 61508 came up with a new standard. 17024 has a new standard. There's also new challenges, more specifically in the cybersecurity. I know that one's running rampant. There's a lot of identity theft going around. So the world's changing, and we need to have people that are competent and up to date. So now I want to talk about why the personal functional safety certification programs are needed. Well, the analysis of past process safety incidences underscores the role that people can play in preventing these accidents. Now, I'll probably throw out a few references to different documents, and if anyone's interested in where I received the sources, of course, I'll have everything listed. I can send them in the email if you'd like, where I got all my numbers. But a study by the UK's Health and Safety Executive showed that most safety incidences could have actually been prevented. It found that the number one cause of accidents was incorrect and incomplete in the design specification, as you see there, 44%. Another 15% was from improper design and implementation. The study also found that a significant percentage of incidences were caused by changes made after commissioning, as well as errors during operation and maintenance, 15%. A subsequent study on accidents in the chemical sector found that 3 most common causes of failure were errors in operating procedures, plant design, and in hazard analysis. Now, large analyses have been put together of a process plant disasters, and one of the main people to do this was Trevor Kletz. He concluded that all accidents are traceable to human error in some form. Now, personnel functional safety certification programs, these were all designed to address these shortcomings by improving the safety design knowledge and practices of individuals, who are usually involved with the design and operation of the critical equipment and processes. And here's another area of concern. Today the global economy is undergoing major shifts in manufacturing, which are making the issue of finding developing and retaining experienced people more challenging than in the past. Now, in brownfield, like developed areas such as North America and Europe, it has been estimated that some 30% of the core knowledge staff within process industries will retire within 5 years, taking a large amount of engineering and operating experience with them. Additionally, a major petrochemical company expects 50% of its engineering workforce to retire in the next 5 years. Now, hearing that, couple the shortage of experienced and knowledgeable workers with the way the plants are being designed and run today, and we have a potential for the number of accidents to actually increase rather than decrease. Now let's go into, okay, so what are the benefits of having these programs? And I kind of touched on that a little bit, but we'll go into a little more depth here. Functional safety certification programs for personnel develop benefits to both the company and the individual. Now for companies, it provides a proof of competency demanded by safety standards and the confidence that their personnel have truly mastered a proper understanding of functional safety and the life cycle. It is also a critical step in developing and demonstrating a safety culture within an organization. Completing the certification ensures that an individual has met a minimum level of competency, okay, and then the act of relying on a certified personnel can boost a company's reputation as it signifies a commitment to the professionalism and the expertise. Now, for individuals, following the recommended training curriculum, will increase their functional safety skills, their knowledge, and making them more valuable to their employers, potential employers, and demonstrating competency through quality certification programs will actually open doors to employment, for advancement, leadership, contracts, and even compensation. Okay, now increasingly, companies are requiring certified personnel to oversee safety projects, particularly those where new infrastructures are being created. And I know the most recent example is in the Middle East and the Asia Pacific regions. Many companies are now searching for the best functional safety program. Keep in mind that as a need grows, many competitors will fill the void. Right? We all usually know that. Some will be in the best interest of the field, and some will be in the best interest of themselves. Here are a few key points or topics to keep in mind when you select which safety or functional safety certification program you want to choose. You have the difference between a certification versus a certificate. You have universal certified titles. Some titles actually infringe on or are in violation of certain country laws. You also need to know, what certification level is actually right for that candidate. Is the examination fair in all regions of the world? And who makes up the examination? So now we'll go into some comparisons with some different certification companies out there, and then we'll touch on CFSE and all the qualifications you need to take the exam. So because we talked about certification and the certificate program, I think that one is usually addresses a lot of questions, so I want to kind of touch on that one first. Understanding the difference between a certification program and a certificate program is critical to assessing the quality of a given program. Now, in a certification program, the applicant must pass an examination based on broad industry knowledge that is independent of training courses or course providers. Certification generally refers to an earned credential that demonstrates the holder's specialized knowledge, skill, and experience. It is designed to measure an individual's knowledge and use, which can be defined as the application of knowledge and skills by those real-life experiences in his role. Now, how certification differs from certificate program, which it's usually an educational course, the certificate one that is, offers that confers a document at the program's conclusion. Okay, so in a certificate program, the applicant must attend a particular course and pass a test based on the material from that course. The ANSI NOCA Standard 1100, which was published in March of 2009, it stipulates that holders of a certificate may not use letters or acronyms behind their names, nor may they use the word certified in describing their credentials. The use of the letters, acronyms, and the word certified, well, they're reserved for holders in professional certifications, as defined by the standard, of course. Therefore, it is possible that someone who passes a certificate program may not be able to display a designation on their business card or even in an email signature. We've had this before. This can be very disappointing to someone who completes a certificate program. They paid the money thinking that it is a certification program and expecting the associated benefits. Okay, the following questions, I have two of them here, that can be used to quickly determine whether a specific program is a certificate or a certification program. If the answer is yes to either, then it is a certificate program. You must have, yes to both of them. Or to none of them, actually. The questions are really, does the certification body or its paid agents develop or deliver its own certification prep course? Does the certification body require its own or its own paid agents prep course as a prerequisite for certification, or imply that such a course is the only way for certification? And in both of these situations, in order for it to be a certification program, you must answer no to both of those questions. So just keep that in mind when you're looking around trying to figure out which ones you want. A little bit more here, how to select a certification program. Well, understanding the nature of the certifying body and the quality of the certification process is important to ensure that the expected benefit is received. An individual who bears a designation but appears unable to perform competently is often referred to as, what I say, a paper tiger. Because, their resume suggests that they are more effective than they really are. Many people are good at that. For example, it's kind of a fun example. What percentage of candidates would be able to pass an exam or write a thesis to receive the title doctor in school if the candidate only went to school, or training in this sense, for 4 days? When looking for a starting point or a certification level, keep in mind the experience level. There are different levels of accomplishments or certifications one can attain. The candidate needs to remember that if they achieve the level of an expert, the responsibilities should follow and will follow. Be wary of programs, that allow one to achieve the highest honor from a couple of days of training. And you're going to I stress that point because it's becoming more relevant. Keep in mind that is one reason why I keep pushing that. Another reason for evaluating the quality and structure of a certifying body is to learn how certification from their program will be accepted and looked upon by companies and government entities in all different regions of the world, not even just the region where they reside. Also, to see if the program is a certificate or a certification, which is a big difference. Now, let's talk about, what about the people that are certifying the candidates? Okay, certifying personnel, particularly in the area of functional safety, is a business that requires a significant level of commitment and expertise from the certifying party in order to create an effective program. Not just any company or organization can become a functional safety certifying body, which is actually really good, because a proper certification can mean the difference between, I say, life and death if the safety standards are not followed correctly. ISO 17024, now they were released in 2003 and the second edition in 2012. It's an international standard which sets out criteria and provides a framework for an organization's certification of individuals. It is designed to harmonize the personnel certification process worldwide, and according to this standard, competency can be defined as a demonstrated ability to apply knowledge and skills in addition to demonstrating personal attributes. Now, many organizations will require training in order to become a functional safety expert, and this is actually misleading information because, in fact, the program that requires training is said to be a certificate program and not a certification program. Also, ask yourself questions. Is it safe to become an expert in 4 days of training and take a test off of information you just learned? It sounds easier, obviously, but are you an expert? And in the near future, the serious functional safety programs are actually going to have to become ANSI accredited to eliminate the confusion and to set the higher bar to achieve. I do have a question here that they can't get audio through the web client. There's a phone number where you can call in for. Obviously, Doug, you can't hear me. I'm going to type a response to you, but unfortunately, there is no call-in number. I will just have you. I will just send the audio personally to you, and you can watch it then. Give me one moment. Let me write that answer to him. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Let's move on. So now here's the next slide. I kind of wanted to go in and kind of discuss some differences. I put 3 of them up there. There's many to choose from. These are 3 of the main companies. You see CFSE, you see ISA, and you also see TV Rhineland. I did circle a few things that I saw. 2 things that I touched upon, as you can see in the training and prep course. You know, ISA and TV Rhineland, they both require a training, and then they give a test on the training, and it's all fine, but you have to realize that one is a certificate and one is a certified program. So be careful with that. And then also, I did touch on the fact that, you know, most people don't realize, but is the exam identical for all regions? Are you an expert in a different country? So what I'm trying to get at is, say a company says, okay, you are now an expert. We want you to transfer over to this country. What if the exam that they gave you is different in every single region? Does that mean you have to take an exam in every region to be certified in that country? You know, these are some things that people don't think about. So you want to have an identical test in all regions. Now, that test can have random questions, which most all companies do. The test, I can speak for CFSE, where it's a random test from a database. It pulls questions out for every exam. Everybody usually has a different exam. If you were to sit the exam twice, your exam's different both times. However, all questions are selected within an equation, so that if there's process questions, if there's hardware questions, if there's software questions, you have a certain amount of questions from each field in which you have to answer. And that's how the database calculates that. So what are the CFSP requirements? The CFSE program, like we spoke before, you need 2 years of related experience or education. So what that means, if you go to college, or even if you don't, and you get 2 years of experience, your education, if you obtain the degree, that does count, you can now sit in on a CFSP exam and pass it. The exam is only one part. You can renew it every 3 years. As you see in all bold, there is no training course requirement. Sure, we recommend, we can say, look, go ahead, get training. That's great. It'll help you, to a certain extent, but you do not need it. It is, this training course is operated, or it's not this training course, the CFSP and CFSE program is operated by Exeter Certification. Certification procedures, though, are established by the CFSE Advisory Board. Okay, so there is a small difference there. The CFSP is a 4-hour session. You are allowed to bring in published material. However, no personal notes. It's 50 questions long. You can select basically what you do with this exam, and you'll see the CFSE how it differs. But CFSP, you do answer every single question, and you do select the best solution from the 4 possible answers, and you have to score an 80%. Now let's leave the CFSE. The CFSE, you need 10 years of related experience or education. Yes, some of your schooling can count. If you go to the CFSE.org website, all the prerequisites are on there. The exams are in 2 parts this time. It's an all-day test. 2 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon. The renewal is every 3 years, no course training required. Once again, it's operated by Exeter Certification Group, and the certification procedures are established by the CFSE Advisory Board, which the Advisory Board is members of different companies who have an interest in the CFSE program, we do have other certified trainers that we've approved their material, and they are also allowed to join the board to help make the board better, or the actual program better. There are different types of exams. We kind of touched on this. There's 2 application exams. The favorite is process industries. That is the 61511 standard. You have application machine industries, which is 62061. And then you also have the developers, hardware and software, which is 61508. And we threw in the endorsement program, but that's only allowed to be taken after the fact, after you pass the CFSP or CFSE. And the one, once again, you do not see in there is the automotive, which is 26262. We spoke how the morning session is 2 hours. There will be a lunch, and then you'll take the second 4-hour exam afterwards. It is 50 questions. You do take the best possible solution. You have to answer every question, and how this one differs is you don't need an 80% on the morning session, okay? You have to get at least 30 of the 50 points correct, and then a total combined 80% from the morning to the afternoon. And I'll show you the afternoon session is 4 hours. This is where your case studies and the short answers come to play. The published material is allowed, but no personal notes. The number of questions varies. This is how this differs. You get to review questions and pick which ones you want to answer first, because you want to answer at least 50 points worth of questions. And of the 50 that you answer, 35 must be correct. And that's a minimal, okay? If you hit both minimals, you're not going to pass the exam. That's only a 65. So you do need to find a way to up it, 15 points on either or, but at least get a minimal to get your 80%. So hopefully you understand that. If you don't, I will put my email at the end of this presentation. You can email me questions, and I can go through it that way for you as well. So what does a certificate look like? It looks like this. You get your name on there. It tells you what level of exam you took, if you were an expert or the CFSP. Also shows what test you took. This one here is a sample, is the process application. I say about 90% of the people take this exam. It's based off of the 61511 course or standard. I do recommend that you do study 61508 as well. As cumbersome as that is, it is a hard standard, but that will only help you. So, what about resources? A lot of people ask me, where can I get study material? How can I prep myself ahead of time? If I do take training, can I learn before I get to training? And absolutely, there's a lot of resources out there. I know Exeter.com, they have all types of training. They have online training. They have prep classes. In the prep classes, Exeter, they are a certified and approved training facility for CFSE, ISA as well. We also have a new, this is in the works and it's going to be accepted. I can't release the company's name, but there's a company in Canada that is now going to step up and become an authorized trainer in Canada. And I know we've had a void there for quite some time. There weren't as many training classes offered there. So now that's all going to change. So that's quite exciting. We have study guides, we have reference books, and like I said, reference books can only help you. You can bring any reference book you want into the exam. There's also, there's everything. We have, I know Exeter, they publish, they're proud to be one of the top people to produce the most publicated books. They're coming out with 2 or 3 more this year, and they also have even like a package where you can combine a bunch that they feel is in the best interest for someone if they want to take the CFSE. They don't know the questions on the exam, but they know what topics are usually discussed. And we keep the two extremely separate so that there is no impartiality. Now, I did tell people, and there have been some requests that you want to hear more about this endorsement program. So I have one slide real quick. We're going to go into it. We're going to touch it slightly. And next week, Dr. William Global is actually going to have a whole web seminar on the endorsement program, and it's really exciting. I love it. It's a great idea, and many of the CFSCs are the ones that gave us this idea. And it's an endorsement program, right? It's electives to build expertise and knowledge in key areas. It's a 2-hour exam in a specialty area. Now, why would someone say, why would you want to take more once you already passed an elite program like the CFSC, or even the CFSP in that matter? Well, it's because it's a general test, right? You're an expert in the general functional safety world. but that doesn't tell people what you're great at or where you excel at and where are you a subject matter expert. Well, that's what this gives you. It's going to be looked upon as more of a continuing education. This is something that people can now take the exam, pass. This is like a certificate, right? Because, well, there's not even really a training required. We'd like to get it to the point where there'll be a training and then you take the exam, but right now it's just the exam. You pass this exam, you get the certificate, you get the accolade saying you're a CFSE, and you expert in your expertise in safety software or alarm management or cybersecurity. You get the point. You can take as many as you want to show people where your field of expertise lies. Okay, and a lot of people are excited about this. A lot of people are starting to take this exam. The great thing that we do want to let people know is, look, take the exam. If you fail, this isn't something we're going to hold against you, because what we want you to do then is, if you fail this exam, you study, you've taken the exam once, come back, and we'll let you take the exam again for free to hopefully improve on your score. And once you improve on your score, you do pass, you can get the certificate, and then you can put an accolade on your signature, your business card, wherever you'd like to put it. So this isn't something to where it's a one-time and done, and I got to pay another fee to take the exam again. No. This is something we want people to show others where they qualify and where they're an expert. Okay, and I just want to get that point out there. It is a 40 multiple choice question. It's all online. There's no traveling required. So you can simply go to the CFSE.org website. You can click on the endorsement program. You can look through all the different types of exams. There's descriptions of each one. You can take the exam. Once you're a member of a CFSP or you are a CFSE, take the exam and get the accolades and certificates. That is my webinar. If you have any kind of questions, I would love to answer them for you. I did put a few email addresses on there for questions. I don't mind answering any of them. You have my email in the middle there, the presenter email, tstewart@exeter.com. For all other general questions, the administrator at CFSE.org, you can email them. And then also for training questions, Courtney had asked me to put her name on here so that you can also email her for any other kind of questions. Now, as far as these websites are concerned that you see above here, the YouTube one is something relatively new. What we've decided to do is you can now subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Exeter LLC, and you can now watch all webinars we've ever done. So when people want to learn about SIP design, people want to learn about what's 2H or what is stiction, you can now go on to Exeter LLC, search in which one you want to watch, and watch these for free. It's basically free training. And what our biggest thing is, we want people to know that Exeter or CFSE want to help you, really. It's not all about, getting people to sign up for courses and do things. Look, the information's out there, and we'd rather you get the right information from the right people. So that's what that's there for. You have the CFSE.org website. If people want to see where different things are on that website, I do have it loaded. So if I do see any questions as far as, hey, where do I get this downloaded form, or hey, how can I sign up for CFSE, or how can I, sign up for the exam, I'd love to show you. And at that point, that does conclude my my webinar. If you have some questions, please shoot them over my way right now. Thank you so much for listening and attending. Okay, I do have a question here. A link to download the recording session would be great. Yeah, no problem. What's actually going to happen is this is going to become a webinar. So what I can do is I can, once it gets uploaded, I could even, if you send me an email asking that you want this link, I will send the YouTube webinar, and that way you can watch this webinar and have the audio. So I have no problem doing that for you at all. Great question. Also, the people that have signed up do get these slides, so you will have at least the slides no matter what. Great question. Okay, any other questions? Oh, I did have another question here. they're asking where, I understand that you have a CFSE.org website. Where can you get all the forms, and where is the candidate information located? Okay, well, that's a simple one. Here, I do have the webpage here. Hopefully everyone sees this. I'll wait a second for it to load. This is the CFSE.org website. What you want to do is, it's really simple. Right here, Forms and Documents. Click on that. And as you see here, here's all your downloads. Looks like the web page is slightly. I don't think Live Meeting can handle the web page, but if you look through here, you see all the downloads. So here's your renewal form, your application forms, brochures. Here's all the references, code of conduct, the referee form. A lot of people ask, where is this located? You have your study guides. Here's some sample exam questions. So that would definitely help a few people. So that's where that is. And then also right here, candidate information. Many people want to know, well, what does it take, or what are all the details for, taking this exam, or what materials do I need to submit? I mean, you just click on it, and here you go. Application for case studies, referee statements. Like a CFSE, you need 4 referee statements, whereas the CFSP, you need 2 referee statements. CFSE, you need a case study form. CFSP, you do not. So that kind of shows you where everything is. Let's see here. Training course suggested for CFSE certification and next availability. Great question. Juan, I cannot specify which one for you to take. I do have to stay impartial to that, but if you do notice here, that would be the person I would recommend to you to look at different trainings and get the website or get the different dates. If you from what I know from working with Exeter, that if you go to Exeter.com website, you can they have all their training dates available on there. If you're unable to find them, this is the person that you, let me put a little check mark by there, one moment here. But this is the person you want to get a hold of, right here, Courtney Lind. All right, Doug, I did get your email address. I will absolutely send you over this audio when this is finished and compiled. No problem at all. Any other questions? Okay. Nope. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I appreciate everybody's time. If you do think of more questions, you have my email there, tstewart@exeter.com. Feel free. I'd love to answer them. I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for attending. This webinar is now over.